Hey guys, welcome to Bookish Islander. My name is Juan. I hope you're all doing very well. I'm doing fine myself. I know that I have been away from BookTube for the last couple of weeks, but nothing bad has happened, nothing exciting either, just some boring life things have prevented me from being in front of the camera. But I'm here now, and I'm here to do a book haul. I just decided that I would ease myself back into making videos with an easy video that I hope would also be fun for you to watch. So I have a few books that I have been collecting over the last few weeks, really over the last month or so. Some books that I've bought. It's a mixed bag of books, as you will see, in different languages, different styles, different times. And yeah, join me if you want to find out what books I've been buying recently. And the first book that I want to show you is The Stories of John Cheever. Here you have, this is a paperback US edition, which is very easy to read. It's a collection of some of his best short stories. I only regret one thing about this edition, and that's the tiny print. It's not really that tiny, it is readable, but I struggle a little bit with it. That may be my fault, maybe I need reading glasses, I don't know. I've never used reading glasses before, but maybe it's time for me to visit an optometrist or whatever you call it. The next book that I want to show you is one of my all-time favorite novels, and that's Howard's End by Ian Foster. I recently went to a local bookstore, and although local bookshops here only sell or tend to sell books in Spanish, I found one that has a small section devoted to literature in German, English, French, and Italian, I believe. So it's a very mixed bag what you'll find there, but I was able to find this really nice Penguin English Library edition of Howard's End, and I look forward to rereading this at some point because, as I said, it's one of my all-time favorite novels, but I haven't read it in a while, so I'm really looking forward to dipping into this at some point, possibly in 2020. And if you follow my channel assiduously, you probably know that recently I spoke about Amélie Nothomb because I read her latest novel. But she's a very well-known author, particularly in France. Her books are also translated, widely translated into English and other languages. And I wanted to show you this lovely pocketbook edition, pocket size, not pocketbook, pocket size edition of her first novel, her debut novel, Stupeur et Tremblement. I think it's lovely. It's very bold. And this was her first novel, her debut novel, and it's a one that I recommend. If you've never read anything by Amélie Nothomb and you want to read something really characteristic, really good, funny, and interesting, I suggest this one. This is the French edition, but as I say, you can find it in English under the title Fear and Trembling. And then I also bought another of her novels called Cosmetic de l'Ennemi. I also really like the bold cover. I'm really loving this pocket-size French editions of her work. This one I haven't read yet, but I look forward to reading it at some point in the near future. And since we're on the topic of French books, I also bought a French book in pocket-size edition. This is L'écume de jour, or The Foam of Days by Boris Vian. This is a classic, a 20th century classic. It's a fun novel to read. I'm sure you would have, if you haven't read it and you read it, you'll find out that you've never read anything quite like this. I really suggest it, particularly if you're in a whimsical kind of mood. So you get into it recently, because it's a mix of realist fiction and whimsy, so it's not for everyone, but put your prejudices aside because it's not like anything you've read before. So this is The Foam of Days by Boris Vian. And I'm nothing if not eclectic, so my next book, it's an English novel, a contemporary English novel called The Man Who Saw Everything. I think this is a rather hideous cover. I don't know about you. I didn't buy this because of the cover. I bought it because it's hardback. I bought this edition because it's hardback, but I bought it because I'm gonna be doing a buddy read of this book with Sean the Book Maniac in the next couple of weeks. I'm sure he won't mind my saying that right now. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I've never read anything by Deborah Levy, so particularly if you have read this book, let me know what I can expect without spoilers in the comment section down below. I'm really looking forward to this. And if this is a successful read for me, I want to read her earlier novel entitled Hot Milk. And the next book is one that I've read a couple of years ago in English, but my boyfriend recently got this Spanish translation of it, and I wanted to show it to you because I think it's such a gorgeous book. So this is Homage to Catalonia by George Orwell, and look at this gorgeous edition. I don't know, I wish you could feel it. Yeah, it's a great edition, and it has, I can't really say anything about the translation because I'm not reading it. But yeah, it has some very interesting pictures from the Spanish Civil War in the middle section. So yeah, this is it's the best edition of it, the best in terms of how it looks and feel that I've ever found of this book. And of course, you know, it's a book that I would suggest, Homage to Catalonia by George Orwell. It's nonfiction, so if you're looking for something to read for a nonfiction November, you could do a lot worse than to read this book. And if this book is nonfiction November, last month was Victober, Victorian novels for October. And if you follow my channel, you know that I finally managed to read George Eliot's Middlemarch. So here I have it. And you might be wondering, this is the Penguin Classic Edition, and you may be wondering why I'm showing this book now if I read it last month. It's because I read it as an ebook, and I also listened to it as an audiobook. And while I was like about halfway through, I think, or no, actually I was 30% in, I decided to order a paper copy because I thought it might make things easier. And well, what can I say? I got it a week after I'd finished it, so I've never actually opened it. And but yeah, if I ever want to reread Middlemarch by George Eliot, now I have it in this gorgeous Penguin Classic Edition. We're almost coming to the end of this book haul, and I have 3 books that have been quite popular in the last couple of years, I think. And these 3 books were not originally written in English, but they're widely available in English. The first one I have is The Eighth Life for Broca by Nino Haratishvili. She's a Georgian writer who now lives in Germany, and as far as I know, writes all her books in German. She's also a playwright, and this is this brick of a book. It's her most acclaimed novel. This has been translated into English as The Eighth Life for Broca. And I haven't started it yet, but I'm really looking forward to this. I don't know when I'll be able to get to it, let alone finish it, but I haven't looked forward to reading a book like this for quite some time. So yeah, I look forward to reading it, and I hope to talk about it more in this channel once I start it. Then I have a French book, The Years by Annie Ernaux. I have this French edition because I intend to read it in French, but I know that quite a few booktubers have read it and they love it. It's also nonfiction, so, you know, I'm not reading it this month. I'm gonna read it in the near future, but not in November. But if you're looking for something for nonfiction November, I think this probably could be a good suggestion for you. And the final book that I have is a contemporary Korean novel entitled Kim Jiyoung, born in 1982. This is the Spanish translation. I just love the cover. The book was originally published in Korean, but it has been translated into many languages, including English. I decided to read it in Spanish because that was the easiest thing. It was easier for me to come across it in Spanish as I did I stumbled upon it, in fact. I went into a bookstore and I asked for recommendations, and the bookseller said, "Oh, you need to read this book. It's so good, it's so good." And I started it this morning and I'm already halfway through. It's a page turner. I don't really want to say much more about it because this is a book haul, not a book review kind of video. But I think I'll be talking about this on my next Friday Reads next week, possibly. So if you want to know my opinion on this book, stay tuned because you will get it soon. And I think this concludes my book haul. These are the books that I've been buying recently, and then a lot of them I'm going to be reading very soon. Some of them I've already read. I hope you enjoyed my book haul. If you have read any of those books or have any suggestions based on them, please let me know in the comment section down below as usual. I hope you have a good evening, a good day, a good weekend whenever you watch this, and I hope to see you again very soon. Bye bye.